Hello and welcome back. I'm Astraea, your lovely host. Today I bring you a story that is a creepy one. I'll dub the story White Eyes in the Dark, a tale of thrills and chills. Let's get into it. Emily Rourke, who this story is about, and she is 18 years old, fresh out of high school. She has long, dirty blonde hair and brown eyes, and she is the daughter of Mark and Mary Rourke, and they live in a little town called Hannibal. Both her mother and father work on the family farm, raising cows, sheep, pigs, and goats, as well as harvesting corn and beans, typical of the Midwest for those types of crops. And she has two siblings, Timothy and Todd, who are, you guessed it, twins. They're both still in high school, and Timothy plans to become a dental hygienist, and Todd plans to become an RN. And I keep talking about Emily in the sense that she is still amongst the living, to which we still don't know if she is or not. But we'll get into that in a second. Now, back to a little more about Emily. All throughout her high school career, she was one of the top honor students, getting good grades, playing in sports like soccer, lacrosse, track and field. She was always finding an excuse to be outside, and she was part of the 4-H club as well. Even in the winter months, she went to the winter sports parks and skied as much as she could. And she volunteered at different charities, and she was always offering to help others. Even set up and participated in a blood drive when one of her classmates got diagnosed with cancer, leukemia to be more specific. And she also helped her parents around the farm, feeding the cows and pigs and watching over the cows that were just about to give birth, making sure it was a smooth delivery. She wasn't quite sure what she wanted to do after high school, so she ultimately decided to take a break from her studies to help her parents out as much as she could before moving out. And Emily has a boyfriend named Victor, and he was very, very distraught when hearing the news about Emily. And they started dating freshman year and continued to do so throughout high school and winning prom king and queen, both junior and senior year. They were the ultimate power couple. Talking about that, there is a couple, well, more than a couple powerful things y'all can do. Like, share, subscribe, and hit that noti bell so you don't miss an upload from us. Now, on to the story. It was October 28th around midnight. The night was breezy. Cool wind swept into her room from an open window. Emily had woken up to a faint creak outside her room. She was usually a heavy sleeper, but tonight was different. It was an older farmhouse, so you tend to have creaks and groans from the house settling, but this time it sounded almost like the creak was made from someone or something outside her room. She heard a very breathy whisper, as if you could almost mistake it for the wind outside. It just said, "Go to sleep." You've all heard of Jeff the Killer, right? Online horror story some person made up years ago to scare people. A dumb creepypasta. Pale face with a big car smile and lidless eyes. Urban legend, right? I personally have heard about Jeff the Killer, but obviously never believed that he was real, and neither did Emily until tonight. Urban legends don't open doors, but that night one did. He did. He stepped into her room like a shadow born from the corner of her nightmares. She pinched herself just to make sure she wasn't dreaming. No. This was very real. Jet black hair hanging over a pale, bleach white face, and that smile. You can never forget that smile. And she just reacted without blinking, and afraid that if she did, she would lose sight of him and she would be dead. She hurled her bedside lamp she had got from her grandparents, and it shattered against his shoulder. And he didn't move a muscle. She just bolted past him, and he didn't move then either. He just watched her run past and simply said, "I've already had my fun tonight." And her room was upstairs in the two-story house, so making a quick haste down the stairs, she found her parents' bodies in the living room. Both of her brothers weren't home that night, thankfully, but nonetheless, it's a great tragedy what happened to her parents. And there was no sign of forced entry, not a fingerprint anywhere, no rational explanation as to what could have done this to them, according to the foundation. And I'm sure I'm not alone when I say this, but I'm in agreement here with Gary that it would be very traumatizing for someone to see your loved ones like that. The police found Emily barefoot, bloodied, and rambling in the rain on Route 6 at around 3 a.m. Gary found an interview tape that was from that morning between Emily and the detective that had found her. Let's take a listen.
You said his name was Jeff. Can you explain who he is?
He's not a person. Not anymore. I know how it sounds, but you saw the house. You saw what he did to them. He wants to know how I survived. He wanted me to.
Her story, of course, had holes, but holes that didn't make any sort of sense to the detective at the time. It was then the detective let the foundation take over the case. They had more information than them, so it would only make sense. There were countless interviews, files, disappearances. As patterns emerged, and it was said that every few years someone managed to survive Jeff the killer. And Emily was taken to a secure location within the foundation to be monitored and kept in protective custody. And here's another interview with Emily and one of our foundation's operatives. We don't have much of it available to us, but very, very thankful for Gary gathering as much as he could. Let's take a listen.
Why did he let you live? You made a deal, didn't you?
No one survives Jeff unless he wants them to. I didn't make a deal. I became it.
Guys, that that gave me the chills. And it has been said that anytime there was a sole survivor, each and every one of them were either found dead, under strange circumstances, or missing. In 2 weeks after the event, Emily Rourke escaped protective custody. Her room was left spotless except for one thing carved into the wall just above the bed: go to sleep. And Jeff the Killer is presumably still at large. We really don't know. I almost wonder if there's a connection between Isaac Foster from the Angels of Death and Jeff the Killer. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And for those who don't know who Isaac or Zach Foster is, I'll give you a little summary of him. He's a tall, lanky man who is around the age of 20 according to his records. He typically wears a brown zip-up hoodie that is stained in blood, red pants, and black combat boots. His whole body is covered in bandages to hide his burnt skin. He has short, messy black hair and has a condition called anoscoria, which is when the eyes are unequally dilated. Along with that, he also has complete heterochromia, with his left eye being light brown and his right eye being more of a gold color. It has been said that his weapon of choice is a large scythe, but he also carries a combat knife with him as well. Zach is quite impulsive and prone to violence. He is also chaotic and quick to anger, and doesn't hesitate to use foul language in any given situation. And according to his files as well, when he gets the urge to kill, he becomes very giddy and violent. The people that have come to know Isaac have said that he's come to terms with being viewed as a monster because of his appearance and violent tendencies. While he has no problem with murder and chaos, he does see dishonesty as immoral. He absolutely hates liars. He also labels himself as unintelligent, but he's ultimately just uneducated. His rough upbringing had a hand in that, as well as his impressive instincts and strength, giving him street smarts and survival skills. He may have common sense, but he frequently acts on impulse before he has a chance to think things through. His childhood, like I'd mentioned before, was rough. He was much more quiet and reserved due to the abuse that he had suffered, obedient and following whatever orders his caretakers gave him. He couldn't take the abuse anymore after a while and ended the lives of his caretakers. He mainly focuses on people that are happy, as he believes that they are the ones responsible for making him the way he is. So he feels very off put by people who aren't nice to him. But how did he get his burned skin, you ask? Well, during his childhood, his mother's lover had set him on fire in an attempt to kill him, but ultimately failed to do so. Not long after that incident, his mother wrapped him in a cloth and left him at an orphanage in the care of a man and woman for money. And the orphanage he stayed in was a rundown cover up for some dubious reasons that I will not mention, and the caretakers were extremely abusive and even forgetting to give food to the children for multiple days. After he had left the orphanage, he was found by an old man. Zach had passed out from exhaustion and he woke up in the old man's house. The old man fed him regularly, and of course, Zach was not accustomed to that, nor the freedom of forced labor. And Zach confessed to the old man and told him about the murders, thinking the old man was going to kick him out. He just asked what he wanted to do from then on and was told to go to sleep. I honestly feel like there just has to be some sort of connection between Isaac and Jeff, but who knows really. Everyone over here at Site 30 has been buzzing about this incident, making plans to try and contain Jeff and their efforts to even get close enough to get him, but every single time it's like Jeff knows they're coming and he just vanishes. I honestly really hope they're able to do something about him. The guy just gives me the creeps, and all the tragedies has been happening over the years. It's just a lot to handle. This was this was definitely something. I have just goosebumps just thinking about it. And I hope you enjoyed the story for the most part, and I hope you learned something. Let us know in the comments about your thoughts and feelings and what creepypasta you'd like to see in a case file for the next story. Be safe, courteous, and polite out there. And remember, stay anomalous. Until next time.